Okay, so let's take a look at another application that Hipparchus would have done. Let's consider this the top triangle here. So let's consider this triangle here. So if we're looking at this angle here, theta, if we're looking at theta, then the hypotenuse is the longest side of a right angled triangle. The adjacent is the one that's beside the angle, and the opposite side has nothing to do with the angle. The opposite side, you can see here that the opposite side does not touch the angle at all. So that is the opposite right here. Okay, so let's take a look at this, and let's apply some of what we know here. So let's say that this angle, then in this case for theta, let's say that this angle for this one here is 70 degrees. Okay, 70 degrees. I haven't measured it, but let's just use that as a substitute. What do we know about tangent? Well, here's our tangent line right here. This is all these numbers here have to do with tangent. So let's see what it is. It says for 70 degrees, it's 2.7475. What does that mean? Well, we know that tan is equal to opposite over adjacent. And if we have 2.745, that means that if adjacent is 1, then this is going to be 2.7475. And it would make sense that this distance doesn't look nearly as long as that distance. So that part all makes sense. So let me erase some of this so we can go through this again. So if it's 7, so if this is 1, then sorry, I'll do this again. If if this is 1, this is 2.7475. Well, if this is 10, then this is going to be 10 times bigger as well. It's 27.475. And if this length, if the adjacent length was 100, then this would be 274.75. So it's always a relationship. It doesn't matter how big the triangle will be. If it's 70 degrees, then the opposite will always be 2.7475 times bigger than the adjacent. Cool. All right, so let's see what happens with a different triangle. I'll erase all this so that makes a little bit more sense. And let's move this out of the way and get rid of this. And so let's take a look at this triangle here. Well, this triangle, if we want to look at this very acute angle, we know that the longest side is the hypotenuse. This must be the opposite because it's away from the angle in question, and the side beside it is your adjacent. Okay, so that's a very small angle. So that angle is very tiny, and so let's just for sake of this activity say that that is 25 degrees. If it's 25 degrees, the tangent is 0.4663. So if this is 1, let's say 1 centimeter, then the opposite is going to be, you can see it's going to be less than 1 centimeter. Well, the opposite is going to be 0.4663. So in other words, 0.46 of a centimeter, or 40, just over 46 millimeters, the opposite will be. And if this becomes 10, then the opposite becomes 10 times bigger, 4.6. And if the adjacent is 100 centimeters, then then the opposite would be 46.63 centimeters. Doesn't matter how big the triangle is, if it has an angle of 25 degrees, there will always be the relationship of 0.4663 between the opposite and the adjacent.